In this video, I'm going to show you how to get super fast at correcting transcripts with Descript. A lot of this really comes down to getting comfortable with using your keyboard. If you're already comfortable with some of the standard keyboard shortcuts on a Mac for working with text, then you'll already be a step ahead. When you get good at this stuff, you'll be able to correct transcripts really quickly. In fact, you'll hardly ever need to pause the audio. You'll just be able to play it straight through, move your cursor around, and correct as you go. All right, let's get into the tips. Tip number one is really about definitions. We have the playhead and we have the cursor. The playhead is what's moving as you're playing. It highlights the currently playing word. And the cursor is the blinking cursor, and you can use the cursor to make edits while the playhead is moving. The second tip is a keyboard shortcut for toggling playback. Press Option and spacebar at the same time to toggle playback.
My mom wasn't like that. I'm her favorite.
Tip number 3 is a variant on the last one. It's a way that you can move the playhead to the position of the cursor. And you do that by pressing Shift, Option, Spacebar at the same time.
Something that probably a lot of people can relate to, but I can relate to blaming.
Blamed for...
Anytime you press Shift, Option, Spacebar, you'll start playback from the current cursor position. Okay, tip number 4 is pretty standard for any text editing app. You probably already know that you can move the cursor left or right with the left and right arrow keys. But if you hold down Option when you press left and right, you'll jump a word at a time. Learning this keyboard shortcut is critical to moving your cursor very quickly to the edit point left and right across your document. Tip number 5. If you want to add a speaker label, press Command R. Once you've entered the speaker's name the first time, you'll just have to type a couple of letters and it will auto-complete. Press Return after the name is in there, and it'll save the speaker's name and move your cursor back into the text flow. All right, so those are my top 5 tips. Now I'm going to just show you what it looks like incorporating those 5 tips into correcting a transcript for a minute.
Don't want me, they don't understand me, like there's, yeah, for sure, anger and frustration. But I guess that's why I love I loved the gay community so much, because they just accepted me.
So I want you to describe your cabaret act.
It's sort of like a rock and roll, punk rock cabaret, lots of tender moments.
Before I sign off, I want to point out a couple of quirks about Descript. Remember, we're still in early beta testing, so there's going to be some rough edges from time to time. Performance issues, even occasional crashes. So keep backups of your documents just in case. There's one specific quirk that I want to call out. Anytime you correct text, you're going to notice that the string of words that you're editing suddenly take on this dotted black underline, and then it'll turn gray after a second. When it's gray, the text is uneditable temporarily. What's happening here is that Descript is syncing your new words to the underlying audio. We're working on a fix so that you'll be able to edit text even while it's syncing, but in the meantime, just give it a second and you'll be able to edit again. Thanks for watching. Hope you found these tips helpful.